creative. Yep. So let's pick up from where we were at, and I'm going to share this screen. Share. I hope you guys are seeing my console. You are seeing the Trusted Advisor console. Let me see a thumbs up if that is what you're seeing. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Esther. Awesome. Thank you, Alphas. Thank you, Mark. Cool. So, where is that Trusted Advisor? Okay, so let me get back to my notes so that we can push. Cool. So, as you saw, so here we are saying that you can actually download all the checks, and I downloaded it as an Excel sheet. And when you download it as an Excel sheet, you get to see everything that you need to see. And I think that is important. Let's see if it is already opened somewhere. Then I'll just find a way of showing it to you, key high level, so that you get to understand what we mean. So let me change this to that. Let me change this. Cool. Awesome. So let's see. The moment you see an Excel sheet, tell me if you can see an Excel sheet. I've shared an Excel sheet. I hope you can see it. I just want us to go through it. So this is what we were able to download. Mnaona Excel. You're seeing an Excel sheet, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. So this is an Excel sheet, and you can see here we have a number of services down here, from CloudFormation stacks, to Amazon RDS public snapshots, if you had any, to EBS that you have provisioned, if you had any, and you see it is showing you. So I have a number of EBSs here, so and then it also shows you the status. And then if you had an auto-scaling group that you had launched, it also shows you that. If you have an ELB, it shows you. So all the services that you have, you'll be able to see them here. IAM service certificates, Route 53. Some of these things are above our scope at the moment. STS, cold storage, IAM roles, like here, which region are we at? Which service is this? Limit name, you have a role. Limit amount, you have it there. Then you have current, what is that? Current usage or current user? Current usage, and then the status. You see all of this. So if for example you are an expert in Trusted Advisor and that is all that you are focusing on, this is something that can really help even to make sense of it, because sometimes you can be having so many services where you see, like here it's reading total number of resources processed as 1. It might be 10, it might be 100, 1,000, 10,000. So this can give you a very quick look, and then you will be able to see which service is suffering which, or if I'm talking about roles, which roles do I have? And then you can, of course, see the account in which these results are from. This is the account number. So that is that. So you've just seen that it is actually possible. It's actually possible for you to. It's actually possible for you to download, to download those results. I'm back to my dashboard now. The recommendation, you can get recommendations for any of these categories. So for cost optimization, if I click on it, see what happens. If I click on it, we have these various recommendations here. You see all of these recommendations. There are so many. There are so many, like idle load balancers. If you have an idle load balancer, once you've configured a load balancer, it will be incurring spend. So you don't need to have anything that's idle. If it's idle, you'll get a recommendation there maybe to stop it or just decommission it. Stuff like that. Inactive gateway load balancer endpoint, Amazon EC2 reserved instance lease expiration. As we talked about reserved instance in passing, I told you that for reserved instance, you can actually reserve it for a period of between 1 to 3 years. So if that expiration is approaching, you can get an alert telling you, by the way, you have this reserved instance that is about to expire. Maybe you should consider renewing, Then you have these other recommendations here, like AWS Fargate cost optimization recommendation for Amazon ECS, AWS well-architected high-risk issues for cost optimization. So all of this. And now you'll discover, because this is Trusted Advisor, which gives you advice, there are service categories, and you'll see what we mean about service categories, or rather support categories that you qualify for. If you take a higher package, let's say, for example, at the moment, I'm at the free package or the basic package where I only get the basic recommendations. But now, if you want all of these detailed recommendations given to you by Trusted Advisor, you'll either need to go for something like a monthly package or a premium package or an executive package. But we will be looking at those packages. They have different names from the ones that I've mentioned. But just think of them the same way you would think about, let's say, for example, Netflix packages. There's a package that you pay 300 bob, I think, is for one device. There's a package that you pay for, I think, 700 for 2 devices. And then there's a package for, I think, 1,200 for I don't know how many devices. And then you also see that the quality of videos that you get, or the number of devices that you can connect to Netflix at the same time, varies. So even for AWS, the support categories that you get varies with the kind of package that you have taken. The kind of package that you have taken, and we'll look at it. So this is for cost optimization. So you can choose a check name to see recommendations for ways to help save money for your AWS account. Trusted Advisor might recommend that you delete unused and idle resources or use reserved capacity. That is very, very important. That's an important point right there. We go to performance. Under performance, you can see, choose a check name to see recommendations to improve performance of your AWS service. Trusted Advisor might recommend that you check your service quotas. Remember what we said about service quotas, and here I'll refer you back to VPCs, where we say that you can have a max of 5 VPCs per region. But now, if you need to increase it, you can chat with support and ask for a service quota increase. And then you are also told here, ensure that you use provision throughput and monitor for overutilized EC2 instances, because you again don't want your workloads to be offline. Security. Why are you not clicking? There you go. So choose a check name. Like, for example, you see like these ones for security, I qualify for this even as a basic account user. That's why you can see they have been checked. They are not disabled like these ones. They're not grayed out like these ones. So you can see here something like Amazon EBS public snapshot. If I have an Amazon EBS, it will be checked. Then Amazon RDS public snapshot. So those snapshots will be checked. Then it also checks the permission for my S3 buckets. The permissions for my S3 buckets, that one. And then it also checks for MFA on my root account, because I already enabled it. So that's why I have a green check mark. And then there is also security group, specific ports and restricted. So it checks for security groups for rules that allow unrestricted access to these to specified ports. So it checks that, and then it advises you. Sometimes it will check, and then if there is an issue, it will tell you. I want us to do something, or rather, I want to do something that will just show you how this thing works. Let me go to S3 because it's the easiest service to use. For a demo, let me open it in a different browser and in a different whatever. Now a question. A question. What are you currently seeing? Are you still seeing security or S3 bucket? What are you seeing? Are you seeing the S3 dashboard or the security dashboard? Trusted Advisor dashboard?
S3.
S3, good. So it means that how do you call it? That this window that I'm sharing is now visible to you. This window, just this window. That's good. So let me create a bucket real quick. I want to create a bucket. I'll call it Lanley Demo Trusted Advisor. Just trying to make it unique. And then I will remove this, which is not recommended. I'll remove this making this bucket accessible to everyone. So turning this setting on is the same as turning on all 4 settings below. Each of the following settings are independent of one another. So I have disabled block all public access, making that bucket accessible to everybody. Is there anything that I want to do here really? I don't think so. So let me create that bucket. Let me create that bucket. Oh, I acknowledge. Yeah, I need to say that I have acknowledged because that's a security issue. So then I create the bucket. Okay. And then I'll not do anything in that bucket. So that bucket has successfully been created. Let me also go here. Let me see if I have an instance that I can change some settings on just to make it I want us to see if we'll get a security alert on Trusted Advisor. Do you have any running instance really? Do I have a running instance on this account? No, I don't. I don't have a running instance. Let me check something here. It's a default security group. Okay, let me try this because I'm fast. I think I can beat the time. Let me just see. I should have created these resources in advance, but still, it's fun doing it in class so that you guys see how fast you can do these things once you know what you're doing. So we've already created a bucket. So I want to create an instance, a very simple one, a very, very simple one. So let's just call it Landly. This one does not need a lot of stuff. Go. Amazon that. We will maintain everything as is. Then I will come and play with. I will create a security group. Yeah, I've created that security group. Allow IP. Yeah. I like that. That's what I wanted. So I believe enough. Okay, what are they saying here? So key pair. I want to proceed without a key pair. In the first year of opening a AWS account, you get 750 hours per month of T2 micro usage when used with free tier, blah. That is are not included as part of the free tier. That one we know. That one we know for now. It's not important. So that is also creating. So that is also creating. Let's just make sure that this one creates. Good. So we have 2 resources that we've created. And I know by this time we don't have any security recommendations, I guess. Let me see because yeah, no security at the moment. Or let me try and run them here. Oh, so I don't have that ability to run it at that level. Give me a second. Check something here. Blah. Open again. Security group provides unrestricted access on port that. Security group is attached resource. Cool. So what we do, because I want to see this too, we will check it again. We'll check it again maybe before the end of class so that I just show you what is happening, if it will have flagged those security issues with our S3 and EC2. Okay, so let us, someone remind me, we check it in about, at about 10:30. So let's continue with fault tolerance. We'll come back to that. Please, someone remind me at that time. So for fault tolerance, you check, choose a check name to see recommendations to increase the availability and redundancy of your AWS resource applications. You see, so for this particular one, we only have STS, which can be checked for us at this access level. And then, of course, we talked about service limits. So service limits, you can see we have auto-scaling group, auto-scaling launch configurations, CloudFormation stacks, DynamoDB read capacity, DynamoDB write capacity, EBS active snapshot, EBS called whatever, EBS general purpose, EBS, all that. So what this one does, it checks. It checks usage. If your usage is more than 80%, you will get a recommendation or an action. Either an action or an investigation will be suggested for you. Either an action or an investigation will be suggested for you. Yeah, cool. Then you come to operational excellence. Operational excellence. So under operational excellence here, this one, choose a check name to see recommendations to improve the operational readiness of your AWS resources. Operational readiness of your AWS resources. So Trusted Advisor might recommend that you enable various features and services in AWS to ensure it is ready for operation. So sometimes, like I believe yesterday Joy mentioned something about VPC logs. So Amazon VPC without flow logs, those flow logs, the flow logs are very, very important, even from a security standpoint. Yeah. So when you'll be looking at VPCs, you'll understand what flow logs do and why they are important. And when you even go deeper into networking, those are things that you'll have to deal with. Most of these services here are above our scope. They're above our scope, but we will tinker with the likes of RDS, CloudWatch, yeah. And I think when we'll be doing DevOps, we'll talk about the AWS code pipeline and stuff like that. So those are the various services that those are the various recommendations that you can get using Trusted Advisor. Let me see if there is anything that I've not covered here. So if you come to cost optimization, you've seen all of them are here. Okay, that's the same thing that I'm seeing in the notes. And we've talked about ability for us to download all checks. That one we've talked about it. Okay, that one we've talked about it. Let me see. Yeah, so security checks, we've talked about security. We've talked about the likes of MFA, security group, S3, EBS, RDS. So it checks for all of that. Yeah, it checks for all of that. And that is very, very important. It checks for all of that. And that is very, very important. That is very, very important. Let me see. So if we go back to security, because I'm seeing something on the slides that I think is worth mentioning. So the reason why you can see so much on security are actually like 5 important ones. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why you see all of these important recommendations here is because, again, we go back to the point where I told you that AWS has made it part of their operational actions to make sure that security is baked into every service. They think about security before anything else. I think it was it early this year or late last year, the CTO for Amazon was around, and I attended one of the talks that he came to talk to us, and he was talking about, I believe it was this year during the AWS Community Day. So he was talking to us about security and how AWS, how the larger Amazon, because he's actually the CTO for Amazon, not AWS. AWS is the web service arm of Amazon. So how Amazon in itself thinks about security. So he was telling us that even at the product ideation stage, security is the first thing that is discussed at the ideation phase. You remember the SDLC? So at the ideation phase, say you want to bring this new service. Like let's say, for example, now with AI, maybe there is this AI service that they want to introduce. They first start by asking themselves questions on how do we secure this? What are the risks that this one has? Or if they want to improve something, let's say they want to improve something like S3, they want to introduce a feature. They ask, with this feature coming in, how are we making sure that the security that S3 already has is improved or is not compromised? You see, so you're baking in security. That's why you can see we have a lot of these security recommendations here with us. So we cannot refresh at this time. Let me try and refresh it generally from up there and see if we have anything happening. Give it a second, give it a second, give it a second. So this is trusted advisor for you guys. This is trusted advisor for you guys. So let's just wait for this one to load because I want to say something once I see that dashboard. Okay, it's taking its sweet time. So for every recommendation that we get, the recommendations are supposed to answer these questions. What is the status? What is the status of, let's say, for example, your S3? What is the problem? Is the status green? Is the status, does the status warrant an investigation? Or are there actions that you're supposed to take? That's the status. Then what is the problem? What is the problem? Is the problem that you have allowed access to everyone to your S3 bucket, which is not recommended? Maybe that's the problem. Or if it is EC2, maybe the problem is that your EC2 instance, your EC2 instance has security groups that have whose ports are overly opened, as in you've given access to everybody to your EC2 instance, which is also not a very good thing to do. Then what is the problem? What is the specific environment details that you are given? Like when we talk about environment details, again, back to the security group. And I like what I'm seeing on my screen because we've already been flagged for our security group. So what is the environment? Then what is the best practice and what recommended action are you given? So let us look at this first, this one for security group. Yeah, see what we have. So checks security group for rules that allow unrestricted access to specified ports. So let us see. So you are told here that we have a problem with this, in this region. We have a problem. We have this security group name, and then this is the security group ID, and then this is the protocol and everything else. So what are we being told here? We are being told restrict access to only those IP addresses that require it. To restrict access to specific IP address, set the suffix, blah, blah, blah. Be sure to delete overly permissive rules after creating rules that are more restrictive. So what we did by allowing access to allowing access to the internet, we said anywhere internet. So by allowing that access, what we've done is that we have very overly permissive rule. That's how we call it, overly permissive rule. So they are saying maybe consider, look at that traffic and ask yourself, where do you want this traffic to go to, or where do you want this traffic to come from if it's inbound? And then after you have defined your more restrictive rule, then you can now go and delete the overly permissive rule. So that is what this has flagged. I'm wondering why it has not flagged my bucket, or is this one taking longer? Why has it not flagged 7 minutes ago? Let it continue running. Yeah, we have the bucket here, Landly Demo Trust, and then, well, the only thing we are seeing here is that we have no bucket policy. So this is the allowed rule, but we're supposed to have flagged it. Okay, we will recheck it. But I guess you guys are seeing how these things work. You're seeing how these things work. I'm going to reshare my different screen. Give me a second. Nani anaongelea Thamos sasa Musembi? People have just decided to remind me that some people here have not taken breakfast. Stories about thermos. Okay, so all of the things that we've just seen, like for example, we have a recommendation here for a security group. This is just an example of what we saw. So it is telling you what is happening to your resource and it's giving you a recommendation, so restrict access to only those IP addresses that require it. So that's just the same thing. So if, for example, you had a problem with your S3 bucket logging, this is what it will tell you. Check the logging configuration of S3 bucket. So that's what it checks. Then when server access logging is enabled, detailed access logs are delivered hourly to a bucket that you choose. An access log record contains detailed about each request. Then the alert criteria here is yellow. The bucket does not have server access logging enabled. So that's a service that's something that you need to investigate and go and enable it. And then you see the target bucket permission do not include the owner account. So trusted advisor cannot check it. So you need to add that. So again, the recommendation is just the same thing that I've just told you. So this is the beauty of trusted advisor. That's the beauty of trusted advisor. Now, let me check. Okay, cool. We are doing good on time, despite the kidogo hurdles we faced. So what are the categories in which trusted advisor provides check? What are the categories in which trusted advisor provides checks? Majibu za githeri. Send them in like a mixture of maize and beans. Majibu za githeri. Okay, somebody? What are those categories? I have spent like the whole lesson just talking about them. What are those categories? Cost optimization, thank you. Cost optimization, thank you. There are others. Ladies, changamkeni pia. Performance, security, awesome. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Alpha. Another one, service limits, operational excellence, awesome. Fault tolerance, cool. You've mentioned all of them. That's very good. Now, next checkpoint question. What are the different check statuses? What are the different check statuses? And also tell me the colors. Tell me the colors. The different check statuses. You remember the green? You remember the yellow? You remember the red? You remember the gray? The three colors, green, yellow, and red. Yes, what do they each represent? And by the way, there's also gray. So for gray, those are services that are not being tracked by trusted advisor. But what does green, yellow, and red represent? Green, no problem detected. Thank you, Abby. What does yellow suggest? Yellow, you need to investigate, and red, something is amiss. So you're given an action. An action is given. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So then we have, what is a security check that trusted advisor provides at no cost to customers? What is a security check that trusted advisor provides at no cost to customers? Who knows that one? Who knows it? You remember? Zilikuwa pale na tayari zilikuwa. Yani the ones that I showed you and told you that these ones, we have them even at access, even at basic, as a basic user. So one of them is IAMUs, MFA on root account, security groups, S3 bucket permission, EBS public snapshot, and RDS public snapshots. So those were our checkpoint questions. Now I'd like someone to unmute and read these key takeaways for us.
Okay. Trusted Advisor is an online tool that provides real-time guidance to help you provision, optimize, and secure your resources by following AWS best practices. Examples of Trusted Advisor security checks and advice include the following: making sure that security groups do not keep ports open with an unrestricted access, checking for your use of IAM permissions to control access to AWS resources, checking the root account and warning if MFA is not activated, checking that S3 buckets do not have open access permissions.
Awesome. So what you are being told, that is just a summary of what we have been discussing since we started. And I hope you guys have learned something on trusted advisor. So you're asking about pricing for trusted advisor. Let me just check it for you. That is in the documentation. Pricing. It's a very good service, by the way. It's an excellent service. Continue. So yes, but we'll discuss this some more when we get to the business, when we go to the support categories, because the pricing in itself, it is not like it is priced separately from other services. You get it bundled with other services within the different levels, like the likes of business support, business support, enterprise support, enterprise on-ramp support. So we have like 3 categories according to the documentation. That one, you have like business support, which gives you full access to all checks, and pricing starts at around $100 per month. About $100 per month. Then in enterprise on ramp, you have full access to trusted advisor plus other enterprise features like faster response time and some access to a technical account manager, TAM. And the cost here is $5,500 per month. I need to check the updated documentation for that. I think Ikokwanotes, we will see that after the break. Then we have enterprise support, full access to all trusted advisor features, including trusted advisor priority capability, and then a designated term and pricing. Here they're giving us a value of 15,000, which I'll also check when we will be getting to that. $15,000 per month. Now, don't let those figures blow you off, or rather shock you, because you will discover that we have organizations vary in size, and the services that you procure or the services that you provision should actually meet your business needs. So utapata a startup that has few employees, few clients, might not be able to afford maybe something like enterprise support, but they can afford business support because they also want to enjoy the awesome services that trusted advisor gives. So maybe they can afford to pay the $100 per month. But now as their business grows and then they grow in size, then of course it also means that they can even their ability to afford the likes of enterprise might be in. But don't worry about those. We'll talk about those ones when we come back from our break. So considering that I did not give you guys break between our check-in and class time, yeah, I'm going to give you a break so that you can come back. And when you come back, we are going to be talking about security best practices, which is also going to be a lot of practical. So I'll be demonstrating a few things just to show you how to navigate around an AWS account outside outside the sandbox, because those questions have started being asked by you guys, and it is being asked at the right time. So let us meet here at 11, and then we continue with our next topic. Sawa. See you at 11. So kama kawaida majibu ni zile za Githeri. So let me get my chart here so that I can see what you guys are saying. Aha. Okay, cool. So what is the primary function of AWS Trusted Advisor? From what? Musembi. What? So what is the primary function of AWS Trusted Advisor? Okay. I think I agree with you people. I agree with you people that the answer is B. I can see. Cool. Yeah, so that is actually the answer. And you have a very good explanation. And yes. So AWS Trusted Advisor is a tool that analyzes your AWS environment recommendation in categories such as cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and service limits. And we saw that. We saw that. Question 2. Let me make this one a bit smaller so that it fits. Okay, now, which AWS support plan provides access to all Trusted Advisor checks? We haven't done the support plans, but I want to see if someone can try and use elimination. Try and use elimination. Keyword, all Trusted Advisor checks. Remember, I showed you that there are some checks that are available to us, others are not. Gideon is saying it's C, Musembi is saying it's C, Justin is saying it's C. Why not B? Why not B? Okay, so you guys, including Frank, you're saying it's C. So the correct answer is C. Let us see the explanation. Business and enterprise support plans unlock all Trusted Advisor checks, over 50 of them. Basic and developer plans only gets you 7 core checks. You see, so basic and developer plans get you only 7 core checks, and there's nothing like free tier. Okay? There's nothing like free tier when it comes to those access levels. Then which of the following is a core Trusted Advisor check available to all AWS customers? I almost showed you the answer. Which of the following is a core Trusted Advisor check available to all AWS customers? That one means customers at all levels. I can see. I like it. I like the participation. By the way, if you are in class and then you are not participating in these questions, you're not participating in these questions with the questions. Like yesterday, I saw when Joy was taking us through the questions, some of you guys were just spectating. Mtakuja kulia hapa mbele. Or in English, you can say, here in front, you will cry. Here in front, you will remove tears. Because these questions that you see here are the same questions that are coming to your exams. We normally say that there are no questions that will be, how do you call it? No new questions are ever developed. It's just the same questions that are repeated over and over. So when you see these questions, please participate. Please participate. And I'll start calling you people by name because I know people who participate and I know those ones who are just seated and chilling. You are chilling like, you are just chilling. So I can see you guys are saying that the answer here is I am use. And that is true. So the I am use check ensures last privilege and proper user roles, is one of the 7 core checks available to all users regardless of their support plan. Now, under which category does Trusted Advisor check for open S3 buckets or publicly accessible resources? Under which category? I don't know how I'll make this one so that you don't see the answer, but you see all the choices. Let me see. Let me try to be clever. Clever small. There you go. Good. So under which category does Trusted Advisor check for open S3 buckets or publicly accessible resources? Under which one? This is actually the easiest. I can see Abby, I can see Gideon, I can see Fan, I can see Gail, I can see Basil, Alex, I can see you. Belinda, yeah, finally, Belinda, you showed up. You thought that I will also tell you not to answer these ones. Yeah, good. Awesome. Cool. The answer is security. And here, I told you when you're reading these questions, always look at the keywords. Under which category does Trusted Advisor check for open S3 bucket or publicly accessible resources? Remember, as a best practice in AWS, restrict access to all, and that's actually a security best practice. Okay, you restrict access to all and only allow list, apply the list what? The answer is C, of course. Yeah, this is the answer. Oh, yeah. By the way, yes. Thank you. I actually demonstrated this. Thank you, Dan, for reminding us. So checks related to S3 bucket permissions, security groups, MFA on root accounts, all of these fall under what? The security category. All right, awesome, cool. Now, how can you access AWS Trusted Advisor? How can you access AWS Trusted Advisor? Is it only through AWS CLI? Is it through AWS Management Console CLI or API? Is it only through AWS Support Center, or is it by installing an EC2 plugin? Team D, what year D? Where are you? Where are you at? I would have asked you if you saw us installing any EC2. So you're saying it's through AWS Management Console, CLI, or API, and that's the correct answer because it's a service like any other. And it told you how you can access services on services or resources on AWS through those three routes. So Trusted Advisor is available via Management Console, AWS CLI, or Support API. Support API for customers with business or enterprise support. Okay, cool. Which of the following categories is not part of Trusted Advisor checks? Let us see. Which one of those? Which one of those four is not part of Trusted Advisor checks? Naona Team D wamekuwa represented around here. Okay, I can see you, Clinton. Awesome. Thank you, Angela. I've seen new people answering questions. I like it. Tuendelee hivyo. We continue that way, or like that. Okay. All right. Then we are told that Trusted Advisor includes cost optimization. Trusted Advisor includes cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and service limits, but not compliance audit. What is the benefit of using AWS Trusted Advisor regularly? What is a benefit of using AWS Trusted Advisor regularly? Which of those answers is correct? Which of those answers is correct? It automatically applies recommended changes. It helps identify unused resources to reduce cost. It increases EPS storage performance. It provides developer code review. Which is the answer? All right. I can see you people. So B, it helps identify unused resources to reduce cost. So that one we discussed it, and that is the answer. So Trusted Advisor helps optimize cost by flagging underused resources like idle EC2 instance or unattached EBS volume. It provides recommendation. It does not automatically apply them. Always remember that. It does not automatically apply those recommendations. Yeah, that's why we were talking about. There are links that you can click, then it takes you to the dashboard where you need to apply the recommendation that was given to you. Cool. Awesome. So those are the 7 questions that my good Kuzo gave me for you guys. So yeah, so that is that. Let me see if I can share a different screen. I want us to finish something kidogo that I left. You want to check who is following you blindly. Share. So I need to share this, I believe. Share that. Then I want us to take just a step back and just look at these cases quite haraka. Just answer these cases in class so that we moving. You don't have a lab for this, for the Trusted Advisor. And I believe also the security one does not have a lab, does it? It doesn't. It also does not have a lab. So you guys, these days that you don't have labs, spend that time catching up with other labs that you've not done. And the cases, they're very important. Okay. So let's look at this. Musembi, are you able to read this for us? Well, you're still checking who is following you blindly. Amy? Uh-oh.
Okay, let me read.
Okay, please read.
Which of the following are categories in which AWS Trusted Advisor provides recommendations? Select 2. Cost optimization, fault tolerance, database design, migration planning, threat detection.
Okay, so guys, which two? A and B. Cost optimization and fault tolerance. So let's see if those are the right answers. This and this. Submit, and we are correct. I hope you guys have seen that. Awesome. Thank you, Prudence, Elphas, and Habakkuk. Now, which of the following AWS Trusted Advisor checks are available for free? Which ones are available for free? Select 2. Tell me which ones.
MFA and IAM. MFA and IAM.
And IAM. Where is IAM? IAM is here.
And IAM.
AWS Identify Access. Yeah, this one. Okay. We agree. A and D. Submit that one. Just a second. Okay. So, what does an AWS Trusted Advisor red check status? What does an AWS Trusted Advisor red check status, exclamation point, that one, mean? What does it mean? Action is recommended. That's what you guys are saying. Eh? Option D. Action is recommended. Let's submit. Correct. Number 4. What is the service limit threshold that causes a warning from the service limit check? That one you must know because I've been singing about it since we started. That's 80%. 80%. This guy, there are guys here that are still not talking to me on chat. They are not answering any question. Priscilla, Roy, I see you people. Befalin, I see you people. You are not answering nothing, and you are missing out on engagement points. Guys, please participate. Here is the last question. AWS Trusted Advisor raises a security group unrestricted access red check status, exclamation. Which action should be taken? Which of these actions should be taken? And apparently it's like I've highlighted the right answer. Okay, so you guys are saying CCC. CCCCC. Okay, CC. Add rules that give access to authorized IP addresses to the Identify security group. And you remember we saw that. We saw that when we expanded on that thing. Submit, and we are correct. So I expect you guys to perform very, very well on that KC. On that KC. So none of those Maswali are not that difficult, right? They're not that difficult. So, so please do that. Cool. Cool. Now, before I jump to the next topic, can one redo the KC as many times? Yeah, ideally you're supposed to be able to redo the KC. You're supposed to be able to redo the KC. So when somebody, I think it was Brian, and by the way, Brian talked to me over lunch break. I want us to see if you can sort your issue with your KCs. I think you are supposed to, and if you're running into problems, you can talk to us and we can check from our end if we can reset things for you. But KCs are a bit limited. They're not like labs, which we can do a bit of tweaking here and there as your instructors. But we'll see what you can do. Yes, yes, Prudence. So that was Prudence. And I still confuse these two names, Prudence and Priscilla. The two P's. Okay, cool. So that is that. Now, there's something I want to say. And I'm mentioning it here in passing, but again, there is a time that we will come back and revisit it when we are approaching it. Towards the end of this course, you guys will be doing revisions. And revisions are not just revisions that we meet here and we read questions and answer together. There is a point where we will give you questions which you will answer individually, and then you'll be graded, and then okay, it will be automatically graded. We have a system that will grade you, and then you'll know how you're performing. You know, the pass mark is around 65, between 65 to 70, I think the last time I checked. So you'll be able to gauge yourself as you do those tests. You'll be able to gauge yourself in terms of your readiness and preparedness for the exams. And then after we've given you those, which we'll consider, we hope you guys will be very, very honest and you'll do them without consulting LLMs or even the documentations. Answer them as honestly as you can so that we know who is where and how we can help you to get past the pass mark. And then after that, before that week ends, we are going to do proctored exams. Proctored exams, meaning that Joy and I will be your proctors. You will have your cameras on and you'll be sitting the exams just to simulate what you should be expecting in a real exam scenario. So you'll be given questions and you'll have your cameras on and you'll be seated on this other end of the camera and you'll be invigilating, making sure that you people do the exams properly. We are doing all this just to make sure that you guys, first of all, you deal with exam WOGA, and you also get a feel of how exams are taken. You know, you also get a feel of how the exams are taken. That is fun. That will be towards the end of our time together. Week is I think around week 9 or thereabout. You know, about week 9 or thereabout. And then we just want you guys to do your best. Just do your very best. Show us what you are capable of, and then we can help you to, if extra is needed to be added to make you extraordinary, then we will add you the extra, but just do your best. You understand? I hope that one excites you. If it excites you, wacha tuone makofi or thumbs up. If it excites you, let us see so that we know that at least that one is making sense. You'll be doing your exams in December, Clinton. You'll be doing your certification exams in December. And I'm saying December as if December is far. Shock on you, December is next month. So next month you're doing your certification exam. Joyce, sijui ni mwage mtama, nijibu hiyo swali ya nani? Hiyo swali ya fan na Clinton. Ni mwage mtama? Niwashtue kidogo. Ndio akue serious, ndio? Acha niwashtue. What we did even before we started this class, what we did together with the administrators, we already set your graduation date. So setting your graduation date makes it easy for us to work backwards to make sure that we deliver the content, we prepare you, and you guys are good. So just know this. I'll not tell you the date. I'll not tell you the exact date, but what I'll tell you, yeah, 19th is the date that the canvas will be closed, but you will do your exams. All of you will do your exams, all of you will pass your exams, and we will graduate you people before Christmas. Before you go to Christmas, those ones who will have done very well, you'll be CCPs. You'll be certified cloud practitioners. Hapo ndo penye wala kupiga makofi wangekuwa mpiga makofi. Where are those makofis? God, you people don't want engagement points. Look at these ones. You don't want engagement points. You don't want engagement points. So do you know why I decided to digress and just tell you all that? I'm trying to tell you that because I have found out that his strategy ya kuambia do your cases, do your labs is not working. So heri tu tuambie tu, inafaa tu mjue. Oh, nasema ni mbali. Mohammed, ona ni mbali. Time flies, my friend. Time flies, and especially for those guys who have not done their cases and labs. And you will not get a voucher if by the time we are releasing the vouchers, you will not have finished your labs and cases. So TRBD. I'll not mention names, but you know yourselves. TRBD. Yeah, so Felix, we are still discussing that. We will get to know if we are doing virtual, if we are doing physical, or if we are doing hybrid. We will get to know. We'll get to know. So exams, just know that exams zitakuwa huko nyuma. Exams zitakuwa huko nyuma. We will tell you as we move. We'll tell you as we move. Okay, we'll tell you as we move. Okay, the exam in itself, Joy, please remind me, exam inakwanga how long? Is it 1.5 hours? Or 1 hour?
Let me check for you kidogo tu.
Yeah, you have to check. Hata me, I almost checked. Najua si tufanya CCP kitambo, and as I've just told you, AWS keeps changing things. So we can tell you here it's 1.5 hours, kumbe wapi. But when you guys will be registering for your exams, we'll show you even how to ask for extra time in advance. There is something they call accommodations. So, and it's normally made available for people who come from countries that English is not a first language. Yeah, CCPs, actually not just CCPs, all AWS exams, at least the ones that I've done, because I've done up to associate level, and I've also, yes, not disability accommodation, just general accommodation for people who come from countries that don't speak English as their first language. So I was trying to answer you on the CCP, on the multiple choice question type. Actually, most of the certifications, including those of Azure and this other one, Oracle, all of those are normally multiple choice questions, you know? Yeah, 90 minutes. Yeah, so it's 90 minutes. So the exam duration is 90 minutes, and we will show you guys how to deal with all of this stuff. So, Sawa. So, please, if you are behind on any of the things that I've talked about, tafadhali, do yourself a very big favor and just catch up and seek help. You can seek help from your peers and also from us, your instructors. Cool. Awesome. So, that aside, hey, Chopi. Yeah, I can see index 1. Musembi. Okay. Unasema your time ni mobe. Okay. You're not alone. There is this exam. I took it from home. There's this exam. It's called Kubernetes Cloud Native Associate certification. I took that exam from home. I think it was also 90 minutes. And I normally joke and say, I took over 30 minutes just trying to show the proctor the room where I'm taking the exams. So they were telling me, Sijui, rotate your camera. I want to see under your table. I want you to move this and then again show me under your table, you know, all that. Then after you are done with that, then you sit the exam. The exam is released. When you start doing the exam, interestingly, I did the exam for I think it was 60. Was it 60? No. Again, I don't remember how many questions there were, but there were not less than 50. And I did that exam in less than 30 minutes. So I normally joke, I spent more time with the proctor, more time showing the proctor my room than the time I took to do the exam, you know. Oh, you did the same exam, Salem. The wonderful Indian proctors. Hello, Patrick, it's your time. I'll be your proctor. Please, let me show, I want to see your room. Please show me under your table. It was very interesting. So yeah, I've done a couple of them and it's okay. It's okay. Chelsea. Rich was asking if you are up to date with KCs and labs. She has finished all her KCs. She almost done with all her labs. Very good. I hope, Rich, I hope you're also at the same level. You've also done your KCs and labs. I wish we can have such people. We can have people look out for each other. Kusukumana hivyo. Would I recommend 1 or 2? Okay, where possible, I would recommend go to an exam center because it takes away a lot of things. But it also comes at some extra cost. Like, for example, you need to pay for fare, you go there, and then they also have those strict checks. But those checks are not bad. Empty your pocket, give you a locker, put your things in there, have 2 identifiable documents like your ID and your bank card to show that that you are who you claim to be. It's like they have their own what? Which service tells you who did what where? Stuff like that. Evans, finally. Hi, Evans. Now I can see. Now you can earn some. How do you call them? Participation marks by just greeting me on chat. Yes, Evans. You have a question? Justin, anything that identifies you. So me, I went with my ID and my bank card, and they only asked me for my ID. So I don't even know why I carried that anyway. Yes, Evans.
No, I was just saying that.
Ah, good. How are we faring with our labs?
I'm trying to catch up.
Sawa. Should you need any help, just talk to me. Evans is one of my good guys who was not feeling unwell. We are happy to see that he's back. Karibu sana, welcome back. We'll push this thing to the end. I just like seeing people who are willing to pick up and just push. That's very good. And we are here to help you guys. Always remember that. We keep repeating that over and over, that we are here to help you. Purity, yes, they will tell you. They'll tell you at the under the table. Yeah, they will. So we will talk more about a good thing. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? PSI Bridge has been removed as a proctor for AWS. PSI has been removed as a proctor for AWS. Now we are left with Pearson VUE. Yeah, they're the best. They are the best. They will check your clothes and glasses. Yes. Okay, cool. So guys, if you are here and yet you've not done your labs and cases, so you can see we are getting to the thick of things. We're getting to the thick of things. Then finally, maybe before we start security best practices, I also want to remind you guys to continue preparing for next week. Next week, Joy and myself will be seated, will be the students. Will be students listening to you. Will be students listening to you, asking you questions, engaging you in the comment, throwing emojis here and there. So next week is going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I believe Joy is also looking forward to it. So security best practices for creating an AWS account. Security best practices for creating an AWS account. An AWS account. Okay, so let's go. Because you see, at some point, this is both important for you as an individual. I hope this thing is recording. Yeah, it is. Let me just check again. Yeah, it is. Cool. So I'm saying this is important both for you as an individual and also when you start serving clients and when you'll be working for organizations. As in these best practices. These best practices are what has been tested and has been found to be effective and to be working. So by the end of this short unit, you will be able to use best practices when creating an Amazon Web Service account or an AWS account. And before even we go further, let me ask Rich, Kamauko area, tell us, did you follow the recommendation by FAN, and was the MFA finally sent to you? The code, was the code finally sent to you, the verification code?
No, it wasn't sent. They just called and told me. Yeah.
When you called them, what did they tell you? Or when you chatted them?
I called them and then they told me to enter a code that was being displayed on the screen on my phone, on my Dell. When I entered that code, nothing was happening. Didn't verify. They told me to try again. I tried again. Didn't verify.
Oh, sorry for that. I think things have become a bit bad nowadays because I remember when I opened my latest account, the latest account I opened was sometime late last year. Things were quite seamless, as in you enter, they send you the code, you enter the code, then you are good and you continue with your manenos as long as you've linked your card. you know, as long as you've linked your card. But sorry for that. So we will try. Okay, keep trying. And then should I come through something useful that can help you navigate that, or anybody else who wants to set up an account, we will share that information with you guys. But yeah. Yes, I've had similar bad experiences with other cloud providers such as OCI and Azure. I've had similar experiences. I don't know why they are making account creation complicated. It's supposed to be a very simple thing that you do. But let's see. Let's talk about how you can secure your AWS account. So secure your AWS account by following key recommendations in this lesson. AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. You are responsible for security in the cloud. Not that, security of and security in. AWS is security of, you security in the cloud. So the AWS service that you use will determine your responsibility. So different services in AWS have different responsibility levels for you as a person, and it also tells you what AWS is handling. You know, and you know why? It's because as we looked at shared responsibility model, we looked at it in terms of what falls under IaaS, what falls under PaaS, what falls under SaaS. You know, and you know that your responsibility for each of those, also varies. You know, so in addition, you are responsible for other factors, which includes your data sensitivity, your company requirement, and applicable laws and regulations. Let us start from the laws and regulations. If, for example, the data protection law of Kenya prohibits you from sending personally identifiable information to the cloud, then you have to make sure that that information does not go to the cloud. That is your responsibility. It's not AWS's. You know, and what AWS can do, AWS can give you a service, like, for example, a service like Messi, which we got to learn about yesterday, which scans the kind of data that you have, let's say in your S3 bucket, or the kind of service or the kind of data you want to send out. Before you send it out, it can scan, because there's a service that we'll talk about when we'll be doing our revision, because it's not included in the services that we are covering. It's called Outpost, or it's under story. It's okay, Outpost. Where does Outpost fall under? So what Outpost does, Outpost gives you an opportunity to segregate your data such that you can have some data that is that does not leave. It does not leave the jurisdiction that data was produced. For example, if it's PII that the Data Protection Act has said you should not send to the cloud, it will be reserved there. And then any other data that is not protected under the law can now leave and even go to your workloads in the cloud, or it can be stored in another jurisdiction. Hope that one makes sense. And right now, even as a cloud practitioner or a cloud engineer, you really need to know these laws. These laws are very important for you. You know, I'm mentioning them, yes, in passing, but they are very important. The likes of Data Protection Act, what does it say? Because we are in Kenya, you have to understand what does it say and how does it affect what you do. Number two, you also have to understand what GDPR says. That's like the governing law for data protection in Europe and its environs. Then you also need to understand what HIPAA says. You know what HIPAA says, and you know HIPAA is about health information. Yeah, so you need also to understand that, and others like PCI DSS about credit card information, how to do all that. And this is one thing that I always say, from a security standpoint, there is no cloud engineer that can avoid responsibility when it comes to securing data. Data security is a responsibility of every engineer. Let me not even say cloud engineer, every engineer, including those that work in the traditional space as software engineers, you know, software developers. Even them, they are supposed to make sure that they bake security in what they do. You know, they bake security in what they do. For example, let me give you an example here. Let me use Alex as an example. Alex is a developer. He wants to develop this application. That application is going to be a finance app that's going to help people to budget, you know, and then you want to make this application to be cloud native, meaning that you want to host it, let's say, in the cloud, develop and host it in the cloud. And then now you want to, one of the modules in this application will be allowing, for example, you will be allowing Oh, just a second, guys. Just a second. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I had to pick that call. It was from the office. Cool. I hope you guys can hear me. Alex, unanisikia? I was using you as an example. Can you hear me? People, am I audible? If I'm audible, let me see a thumbs up. Nisikuwe najiongelesha.
Yeah.
Who said the first year?
Elfas.
Elfas. Okay. Let me use Elfas as an example because you are here. Okay. Let me use you as an example. So you are developing this web, this finance app, and this finance app is cloud native. So one of the modules it allows, of course, you remember the authorization, the authentication. Okay, authentication, authorization, and accounting. So it allows people to create accounts. It allows people to log into their accounts. It also allows people now to do what? To link their account, say, to their banks. It allows people also to input their card numbers, their credit card numbers, and all that. So there is a number of security. There's a number of security measures that you need to make sure is baked. Like, for example, the most common one is to make sure that everything access to that application is through HTTPS. And you understand why we have the S, for SS, for was it SSL TLS, So that extra level of security is very important. Then you just make sure that every information that comes to that application is secured such that bad actors cannot get access to that. I hope that one makes sense. So I was just trying to explain that point where I'm telling you that security is a responsibility of all of us. And interestingly, not just you, the app developer, even the app user, even the app user has some level of responsibility when it comes to security. For example, if I subscribe to that application, maybe I have that application and I want to use that service, one of my responsibilities will be to ensure that I create an account, I set strong password for my account, and I keep my password and my PIN in a safe place. That's also my responsibility. So that's why I'm telling you, security is a shared responsibility across the board. Hope that one makes sense. Hope that one makes sense. So this note, there's nothing to say there. But one thing that I will tell you again, and we had mentioned this, and Rich, I hope you are here. When you create an AWS account, the first level of access that you get is you as the owner of that account. You can get access through what we call root. The root. Sorry. Let me see if I can log out of my account and just show you how that looks like. Let me just see if I can log out of my account. I have so many browsers, so I need to trace the right one. Not that one. What does this have? Okay. Just give me a second. I get you the right browser. Need to close some of this because they're just let's see. I can always do that. Yeah, it was hidden behind some stuff. I hope this is my account that I want to show you. Yeah. So let me share this new screen. So are you seeing AWS Management Console from where you're at? I hope you're able to see AWS Management Console.
Yes.
Cool. Good. So when you come to your AWS Management Console, what you do is that you sign in. All right. So now mine has bad manners. This one is just signing in directly without taking me through the process of entering, because that's what I wanted to demonstrate. Sorry, it's a setting that I had placed. But now when maybe I'll just explain it. So when you go to your AWS Management Console and you're trying to sign in, or let me see if I can do this. Sign out. Let me see. Because showing you is better. Okay, I hope it will not take me back to that. Good. Awesome. I think I like what I'm seeing. Give it a second to load up, to load up, to load up, to load up. So I can even close this so that we start afresh. So give it a second to load up. Okay. Let's just give it a minute. There's something I want to show you. So ideally, when you're trying to log into your account, there are things that you'll be asked. When you are starting out, you'll have like two options to log in. Okay. You'll get a way of logging in. So there are two ways. You can either log in as an IAM user, or you can log in via root. Via root. So for root, you will log in using your password and your email. The password and email that you used to create, the account. So that is what you are being advised against sharing with others, or even against overusing it or using it often, or using it often. So give it a second. Why is it not? This is latency issue. This must be my internet. Just give it a second. Still bringing up those other pages, those other features that I need. I'll refresh it. Let's try refresh. I think showing you guys how this thing works is actually the best way of teaching this topic. It's the best way of teaching this topic. So let's just be a bit patient. Let's just be a bit patient. Yeah, this one is refusing because of why again? Naniangusha na niko live demo, man. Let me try it one more time. Should it refuse again? We just proceed without it because again, we cannot be stuck here. AWS management console. Login page. We have to be a bit clever. If it refuses to give us what we want, we'll just work with images. Let me find an image that I can show you guys. I think I found one that I like. This one. From our friends at Tutorial Dojo. So let's see. I need the picture. Ah, here goes. Yes. So ideally what I expected to see here, that is not loading, I don't know why, but this is it, you see? So when you go to this, when you, and in fact it has come. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. Cool. Sometimes patience is just needed. So this is what we have here. So you can log in if you have if you have an IAM user, you can sign in with your IAM user, and I'll actually show you how to create a user, and then we'll try and even log in with a user. You know, we'll also try and log in with a user. But now, if it is your first time or you want to do some stuff and you want to use your username, your email and password, you come to sign in using root user email. You see, sign in using root user email. So there is this option, and then there's that option of signing in as a user. Now we'll come back to this a bit later. Let me see if I can have this. Dog or two guys. Let me have it doing some stuff there because I'll use it. Then now let us just sign in with our user email. Let's sign in with our user email. Let me see how far we are here. It's still loading. Okay. Give it a minute. There it goes. Okay. You see, I'm a very heavy consumer of this service, so don't worry that I have a lot of this stuff. So, and then of course my account is protected by MFA. So you see the security best practices that we are teaching you guys, I'm already implementing them. So I've gone to my phone and I've picked my MFA. I use Google Authenticator application on my phone for MFA. So let's see. We are logging in and we've logged in. You see, we have logged in. So I've logged in through root. Okay. So I've logged in through root. And before I get out of here, I'm going to go to IAM and create a user. So I'll come to IAM. Please follow me. This is very important. If I'm going too fast, tell me. So we come to IAM. And you can see just from the IAM dashboard itself, I know we've already done IAM, so this is just like a revision of sorts. So on IAM, you can already see that we have some security recommendations. There's no security recommendation because we have our root user MFA that is So our root is already protected by MFA, and then root user has no active access keys. Your root user should not have access keys. That is also a security question that you might meet in exam. Your root user should not have what? Should not have active access keys. And I'll also show you how to create this. So this is me as root. This is me as root. Now I want to create a user. So I'll go to users down there, and then I'll go to create user here. You see this user? So I have this user called I am admin 2. Now I'm going to create a user, and I'll call this user any name that I want. So I'll just call myself Pat. Okay, I just call myself Pat, and then provide user access to AWS Management Console. So you can allow the user to access the AWS Management Console, which I will tick for me. Yeah, I'll tick for me. And then for password, you're told you can auto-generate password or you can use a custom password. So I am going to use a custom password. So let me just enter my password. That is it. That is my password. Let me just chungulia. Something is wrong here. I don't want to find that I lock myself out. Yeah, that is it. That's my password. Then user must create a new password at next sign-in. So if you are an administrator that is trying to create users, you can actually tick this option so that when you now give that user the permission to log in, you'll send them an email and you'll send them a username and a password which they will log in with. Once they've logged in, they will be prompted. If this option is on, they'll be prompted to create a new password, to change the password that they have to a new one. You know, now because this is my own account, I will disable that. I don't want that. I'll just use the password that I've set. Then I go to next. When I go to next, let's see, sour. Then when I come to next, permission options. So this is where you get to set the permission. So I can add a user to a group. I can add myself to a group. I don't have groups as yet. I can copy permissions from some place, or I can attach policies directly. Sorry, we said you attaching policies directly to many users that require the same level of access is tedious. So what you do, you create a group and add users to a group, and then you attach the policies to that group. But because this is just me, a single user, I'm going to do what? I'm going to attach policies directly to myself. Okay, then when I click that, these are the policies that I can attach. There are so many. So one of the policies that I want to attach to myself is just administrator full access, administrator access. This one, administrator access. This is what I want to attach to myself. So when I click that and I click this plus, you can see this is how the policy looks like. Okay. Let me see if I can make it bigger. This is how the policy looks like. We have the version, we have the effect, we have the action. What does it allow? It allows me to do everything. Read, write, delete. On which resources? All resources. So when you see an asterisk like this inside quotation marks, it tells you all. So the effect here is allow, action, all actions, be it read, delete, read, write, delete. All of that is allowed for me. Resources, all resources in this account. You know, that's why we say administrator access should not be given to every user, but I'm giving myself that because I don't want to use root. I want to change from root and become an admin user who can now do other things that the root account can do, but now I want to do them as admin. You understand? Now, once we've done that, we go to next. So that's the policy that I have copied. This is our user. We have a custom password. We have that. So we have administrator access as the permission that we have, and then you can go on and create what? Create that user. So we have a user called what? We have a user called Pat. So Pat has a username. Pat has a password. He has a password, and then Pat has this link here that Pat can now use to log into the console. You know, Pat can now use this to log into the management console. Let's copy this and let's go. In fact, I should not have done what I did here. Let's just change this to that link. Let me show you how that one works. Okay. Let me show you how that one works. I think by showing you, it becomes easier for even you guys to grasp what I'll be talking about when I finally go to the slides, because those slides will just brush through them. And it's the same things that I'm demonstrating here. So demonstrating them is very, very important for you. It's very important. It's very, very important. Let's give it a second for it to load. So we have this has been created for us. Now you can download it as a CSV file. Yeah, you can download this as a CSV file. Let me do that. I like downloading them because at some point I will need to revisit this link, and it's always good to have it saved somewhere. So I have it as a CSV file. Then I am going to show you something else that is awesome. So you see, we have two users. We have the admin 2, and then we have Pat. We have those two. And you see now this password we have here. You see this thing here. This one tells me that this password, that the password for this user needs to be changed, because this is a long time ago since the time I set it. So I have not implemented that. I'll implement it later. And you see it has an access key ID. It has an access key ID. Okay, it has an access key ID, so worry not about that. So we can come to this user called Pat, click on Pat. Then when you come here, you can see we have a recommendation here. This console access has been enabled without MFA. Sorry, someone saying something? Okay, cool.
Patrick, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Did we not say it should not have the access key?
It is the root that is not supposed to have the access key, not the user. Remember, we are in the user. This is user part.
Okay.
This is not root.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can see here that my console access does not have MFA. Let us change that. So we need to enable MFA. Let us click on enable MFA and see what happens. So we can choose the device name. So device name here, I can give this, it's called Pat. So just Pat. In fact, let me call it Pat Landley so that I'll remember when I created this. And then the MFA device, I'm using an authenticator application. So I'll choose my authenticator application. You see that? And then I'll click next. All right. I'll click next. Cool. Then there is, if you don't have an authenticator app, the first thing you do, of course, is to download an authenticator app. I use Google Authenticator on my phone. I actually have two authenticators. I have another one also for Microsoft, which I use when I'm doing Azure. But now for AWS, I use Google Authenticator. And then there's this show QR code. You can click on that show you a QR code. And then you go to your authenticator. This one, you cannot see what I'm doing. Lenny. And click on plus, and then there is an option to scan QR code. So I'm scanning that QR code on my phone. You just have to take my word for it. I have scanned. Then upon scanning, I can see that a new user has been added to my, or maybe let me do this. Let me see. Let me turn on my video. We've been turning off the video because of latency issue. But let me see if I can just turn it on for a sec and show you something. Just a second. Give me a sec. Okay. So let me show you something. So you have seen that that place where we are supposed to be scanning. So let me just show you something. So please confirm that you can see me and you can see my phone. Trying to see where is that video? Oh, okay. There goes. There you go. So are you seeing those numbers? Sorry. Are you seeing those? Let me see. Are you seeing those numbers? Yeah. So this is how an authenticator app works. So once you have scanned, you have all of those running. So these are the various applications that I have in my authenticator on my phone. So I use this for a lot of things. I have like, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 AWS accounts in my authenticator. 6 AWS accounts. And 3 of these accounts are actually, 3 of these accounts are in one account because I also do some client work in some accounts. So all of those are here. Are you seeing that? Let me just see. Yeah, so you can see those numbers. And those numbers keep changing, you know? So MFA, when you talk about MFA, that is what we mean. Let me see if I can go back one step. Yeah, when I go back one step, I don't know why this thing is that bright. I don't know if you can see those two icons. Those are the two authenticators that I have. I have a Google Authenticator and a Microsoft Authenticator. Those are the two authenticators that I have. Let's go back to Authenticator. So it is something that you can just download to your phone. You can download it to your phone, and it's a very good service. So down here, and the very last one, I don't know if you guys can really see it, but it's written. Okay, let me read it. It's written.
Patrick, you can't see anything.
You can't see anything?
I know.
What are you seeing? Are you seeing my phone? Are you seeing my phone?
Tunaona 381 numbers.
Those are the numbers that I want you to see. Are you seeing them? Okay. There is that one written Amazon Web Services Pat Landley 068332. Can you see that?
Yes, you can.
Oh, good. Kuna watu hapa tutarekomendia carrot 3 times a day. Carrot 3 times a day. Where are they? Watu wenye hawaoni wako wapi hao?
Si watu ni yes.
No. I wanted to put them in a group so that I give them a recommendation at once. But I like to attach recommendation to each one of them. So that is Amazon Web Services, Pat Landley, and you can see that code, and that code keeps changing. I don't know if you can see that thing that goes round. Kwa hiyo ya juu. No. Look at that 29106, and then it will change. It will change in a second. Give it just a second. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Don't know may change. It's now that 397652. So this is a very good way to protect yourself. Okay, a very good way to protect yourself. So I just wanted to show you that. Now we can continue. So let me enter. Up you can see on the screen, we are told enter a code from your virtual application below. So we'll enter the code twice. So let me give it a second because see Naisha. Okay, there it goes. So I'll enter 274 329. And then I wait for it to give me another code. I'll give it 30 seconds, second 30. Give it a second. Boom, good. Then we have 564, 637. So we've added those, add MFA. There you go. So MFA assigned, you see, MFA device assigned. So you can register up to 8 MFA devices, blah, 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 but we already have our MFA. So you see here, it is enabled. You see, this is now enabled. And now we can also create what we call an access key. So access key, you will learn more about access keys when you'll be doing CLI, but let me just show you how you do that. You can either create that access key by clicking here or dropping down to this, but let me just click this. I'm creating it because I'm not going to delete this user. I'll use this user for some other work. So here, when you are creating access keys allows you to connect to your AWS account programmatically. Remember what we talked about? The 3 ways we told you that you guys can actually access your AWS account. Someone remind us, what are those 3 ways? Niambieni hapo kwa chat. Post them on the chat. What are the 3 ways that you can use to access your AWS account? And I want to see those people that have not been talking to me now. This is something that all of you should know. Yes. I can see you. CLI, SDKs, and console. Yes. So you can see here. You can see here. So access best practices and alternatives. So what we want to give, access to CLI. That's what we want to give. We want to give access to CLI. That is the only access that you want to give at the moment. Then you confirm. Just that. Choose CLI and then say, I understand. And then you click on next. Okay. Then you can describe it by giving it a tag value. So I'll just call this one also part what? Partlandly. Okay. Then you do what? You click on create access. Then there is something that I want to bring to your attention. Once you have created this secret access, this can be viewed or downloaded only once. It can be viewed or downloaded only once. That is why you should make it a best practice to always download your credentials as a CSV so that you can access it later. Because once you get out of this screen, you cannot come back and get your access key. You cannot come back and get your secret access key. So we download it as a CSV, and I'll show you how it looks like. So I've downloaded it, and then after I've downloaded it, I just say done. Just that. And now you see we now have what? We now have our access key. You see where it was telling us create your access key? We have our access key, and you can even create another access key. Okay, so this access key has been created today. So it has never been used before. Now let's come here and look at that access key. This is our access key. That's our access key. You see, we have our access key ID and we have our secret access key. Both of them are here. Okay, both of them are here. And so I'll show you how to use them. But I've created them. Okay, let me see where they are at global. Okay, so that is global. Good. So that is for Userpart. So Userpart, we have enabled MFA and they have created the access keys. Okay, and then you can always see when everything happened in this account in terms of not here. Yeah, you can see the permissions that Userpart has. It will be listed here. It is admin full access, of course. It's admin full access. So before I show you how to use that access key, and that's just a bonus. Before I show you how to use that access key, which I consider a bonus for you guys. Is it taking forever to load that one? Let me go back to the there it is, administrator access. That is the permission that we have for Userpart. And then we can come back here. And now remember this is now.
There's a question in the chat.
Yes. Are we still doing all this as root, ama we are logged in as part? No, what we were doing here, because we are setting permissions for a user. You set those permissions for that user as root. Here in this chart here, we are root. So you are creating all that for your user as root. You understand? And then after you have done that, that is why I came to this second place here. Now we want to log in as that user. Sorry, we want to log in as that user. And I suspect you cannot see this screen. You are not able to see this screen, right? So let me change my share. I share the right screen again. Zoom should work on this because it's becoming what? Share. So this is a different screen. Remember the one that I opened as incognito? As you can see up here, I opened it as incognito. So we want now to log in as the user that we created. So what I will do, you first of all need your account ID or alias. So I'll leave this as is. That is when I will now go back and pick the account ID. But the user, I remember it was user part. The password for user part is here. I have everything protected by security. Good, that is it. And then now I can sign in. See what happens when I click sign in. It's asking me for the MFA. Remember we set the MFA. So I'll go to my device and I will look for that code under that. Give it a second. There it goes. So we have it. I write it as 310. Okay, 054. You see that? Then I sign in. See what happens? I'm signed in. I'm signed in as what? I'm signed in as user part. Okay? I'm signed in as user part. Okay. Give me a second, Clinton. I'll answer your question. I've seen it. So I don't want to do anything there. So this is now user part. You see? This is now user part. You know, so there are things that a user can do that root access cannot do. That a person with a root access cannot do. Let me just check that one for you. I always have my documentation with me. Okay, in the meantime, I want you guys just to check, look at this account. I hope you guys are able to see it. You know, this is a brand new account. It has nothing. There is nothing in it. Next, this tours. It's not a must for you to take me through the tour. I already know my way around. Okay. So this is our account. You see, it's brand new. We don't have any instance. We don't have anything. You can even change. You can change where you are. Let's say we go to US West 1. We are changing our region to US West 1. You know, all that. You know, so we have a new user that has been created. So the question that you asked, can a user do what? Let me see. And you will see them by this. I'm covering this in one of our slides. So there are specific things that a root user can do. There are specific things that a root user can do. You know, things like, for example, Najwa, you might be having that disgruntled employee that decides to leave the organization and they want to leave a mark that you'll never forget. And they discover that they were a root user, so they decide to close your account. Or they even change the root user email and password, you know, or they decide even to delete the MFA device that different users were using, or even the root user was, that the root user was using, because as a root user, that account is yours. So you have all control. And IAM user only has the permissions that are granted to them. So even if you give them admin privileges does not mean that they have all the accesses. They can work. Yeah, they can work as administrators, but there are things that only getting in via root that you can do. And by the way, this is the reason why we took time with you guys when we were doing Linux. I hope you guys can relate. When you were doing Linux, you saw we were using su or sudo su. So if you wanted to shift and become a root where you can now run, you can run things and even interact with the root directory, you needed to change your permission to sudo su. But if now you are user part, even with the sudo, if I say sudo and I'm still running as user part, there are things that I cannot do at the root level. So there are specific actions that are actually, how do you call it? They are actually reserved for root users only. You know, that's the easiest way to answer your question. That's the easiest answer to your question. No, Cloud Shell, we will deal with it later. Cloud Shell will deal with it later. I don't want us to divulge so much. Maybe the only thing that I'm going to show you now, I don't know. Problem now, you know now the problem here is that the problem we have today is that I cannot share my entire screen. So I have to shift from window to window. It's getting boring. So give me a second. Let me just see if my VS Code is somewhere. I want to show you something very, very fast. My VS Code should have picked. Why is it not picking code dot? WD. You guys are not able to see my screen, so don't worry about it. Yeah, there it is. Good. So give me a second. Let me change the screen that you guys can see. Open file, open folder. So where is that? Desktop. I hope I have an application here that I can use. Let's just bear with me. Okay, select that folder. Cool. All right, so let me share that screen. And what you should be seeing right now, and someone confirm for me. So, where is the VS Code here? Oh, here it is. So, someone confirm to me that you can see my VS Code. For guys who have never seen VS Code before, this is how VS Code looks like. Don't worry, don't worry. I just want to demonstrate something. Cool. Cool. So, so what do we do? I hope this thing will not fail me, because Windows has issues. I was not ready to demonstrate this, but let me just see if I can demonstrate it. Give it a second. Okay, so let me try and run AWS configure. Cool. Let me make this one bigger. Now that it's working, I can make it bigger. If it would have failed, I would have really run away from this one because I don't like dramas. Okay, so when you are trying to connect, when you want to connect and do your work, let's say, for example, you want to do your work locally and then push it to the cloud, for example, and you want to connect your AWS environment to your local environment, you use the keys that we created. You remember the keys that we created for user part? So for user part, there are details that we created and I actually showed you. So I don't even need to share that screen to show you them, but I'll open them on a different tab. I'll drag them to my secondary because I'll need to copy them. Okay, so you see here, the first thing that you will see, I already have a certain account that I've already connected to my VS Code. But now you can connect multiple accounts and you can be shifting between the accounts, the one that you want to use. So I'll not go into the details, but what you'll do when you run AWS configure, you will be asked to input your AWS access key ID. So one of the things that we downloaded, one of the things that was created for us, and it is included in the Excel sheet that I'm looking at, is the access key ID. So I'll come here and paste it. You see, that is my access key ID, exactly what I've pasted there. Then I'll press enter. The next thing they'll ask me is my AWS secret access key. So I'll come and take my secret access key. Yeah, my secret access key. I'll copy that and then I'll come here and the secret access key, the here nimeweka, and then I will enter. Once I enter, it will ask me for the default region that I want to use. Most of my workloads normally run in US East 1, so I'll just maintain US East 1 as is. Or if you want to use a different region, you can write it there. You can even write, like, let's say, for example, I want to do this one at US West 1, for example. You see, enter. So my region has been changed to US West 1. And then the default output format is JSON. That one, we always leave it as is. And then when you click enter, if everything is okay, you will get that. So we don't have any problem, you know? And then now if I rerun AWS configure and enter, you'll start seeing that my changes took place. Remember, this one ends in UBHP. This one ends in C6P3. Okay, so let us see if this one has now been taken as what we want to use. You see, C6P3. And then for secret access key, if we enter, you see the initial one was ending at B9NR, but this one is DPB7. You see, it BZ. It has taken that. Also, look at the region. Has the region changed? Yes, our region has changed to US West 1, and of course, it's also in JSON, and we are good. And then you can run a few things there, you know. So I cannot run a command, for example, to, let's say, for example, now I have a Terraform script that, okay, Terraform is a bit advanced for some people. Yeah, let me just see what this one does. Let me just see what that one does. So we'll be talking about infrastructure as code at some point. We'll be talking about infrastructure as code at some point. So you see, like, for example, this one will create a resource. It will create an instance for you. You know, it will use Ubuntu. I know you guys have been using AWS Linux. We've been using AWS Linux, but now this one will create an Ubuntu, you know, and then you see the same things that we've been doing with via ClickOps. We'll set a security group. We'll have an instance profile. Yeah, we will have our ingress rules. You remember the ingress and the egress rules. Yeah, then we'll have our key pair. We'll create a key pair. Okay, then we will have, we will also, now the output that we want to see at the end of it all, we want to see the IP, because that IP will be important in the next thing that I was supposed to do with the entire of this, in this project that I was doing. So I'll not go past this. I just wanted to show you how to connect those two. Yeah, how to connect those two. So let me see where we are. Present working directory. Okay, that's where we are. We are at the project. When I do ls, you remember those commands, the kina ls, the ones that we did. ls, you can see we have our AWS key pub, that one, and we have Terraform. If I do cd Terraform, you can see we are in Terraform ls. You see main.tf and variable.tf, the same things that you see here under Terraform. Main.tf and variable.tf are here. You see that? You see that? And then if you do something like Terraform initialize, Terraform init, something is missing. What is missing? Missing region value. So I'll need to go back and set this as defaults. Okay, I'll set this one as environmental variables. I am not going to go past that. I know that we have so many curious people here, but you guys are still CCPs. So wacha nisiwapatie mifupa saizi mkunywe bado maziwa. Cool. So I'll go back. But at least you've seen the things that we do. You've seen the things that we do. So let me go back to this sharing of that new other screen. Is the terminal Git CLI or Git CMD? No, okay. What I did, for me, I just have Git bash installed. So I don't know if it's a CMD or if it's a CLI, but I suspect it's CLI because most of these things actually operate with CLI. Because even if you're using Docker also has its got its own CLI. I wish I took English for breakfast. Well, okay, cool. So we have this user, and you've seen we have actually logged in. Now we have this user. This user has nothing. They don't have any resource that is running. You understand? This user does not have. No, this is not the user. This is our root. Let me not confuse us. This is our root. So in our root, you can see that we don't have anything. We've just created the user. We've given the user the permission for admin access. So I can use this user in my other browser. Hey, today Zoom has decided to do me things. Let me see. This is console home. Yeah. So I'm shifting to the other. Yeah. So this one that you're now seeing on your screen, this is now the user. Pat logged in as user. You know, Pat is logged in as user. And you can see up here, the user is Pat, P-A-T. That is me. Okay. Cool. That is that. So at least I've shown you all that. And now when I go back to our notes, it will be very easy for you guys to understand what I'm talking about. It will not be strange. I'm talking about what is Pat trying to tell us. So we are back to our notes. That was a good digress. So we are just going to zoom through these notes because everything that is here we've already discussed. So understanding when to use the root directory. The following tasks require that you sign into your AWS with your root user credentials, okay? With your root user credentials. So if you want to change your account settings, if you want to restore AWS IAM user permissions, if you want to change your AWS support plan or cancel your AWS support plan, and by the support plans, we'll talk some more about them because this is very important, those different levels of support. Then if you want to activate IAM access, if you want to view your tax invoice, if you want to close your account, register as a seller, configure an S3 bucket, and edit or delete an S3 bucket, a main S3 bucket, not the one that is used by a user. All of that you'll need to go back and get what? And get access as what? As a root user. So for the, I think, was it Gideon? Someone that had asked, someone that had asked the question of, there is someone, thank you, Gideon. Thank you. So someone that had asked the question of what an admin user can do versus what a root user can do. So you can see the list there. This is what a root user can do. And I hope the explanation I gave using Nini made sense. Using Linux also made sense. You know, I hope it made sense. So all of this is just the same explanation. You guys will read this. I'm not going to repeat that because it's what it's being explained. And I like this flow diagram because it shows you the same processes that we have done even to create our user. So security best practice for AWS account, stop using root user. Stop using root user. So stop using the AWS account root user as soon as possible. Actually, as soon as you create it. And especially when you'll be working at organizations, once you are given an opportunity, let's say to set up an account, okay? You have set up an account. And then once you have set up that account, then one of the things that you should do, start with yourself. Security starts with you. Start by setting an admin user for you. And then if you have other people within your team that also require admin level of access, create a group called admins, add all of them there, including yourself, and then do what? And then inside there, give yourself the permissions required. If you have others that require lesser permissions, put them in their own groups. You know, and remember what we said about groups. A user can belong in more than one group. You understand? A user can belong in more than one group. Okay, cool. So you create an IAM user, create an IAM group, sign in with IAM credentials. So the user you create here, you add this user to that group, and then now these users will now be able to log into your account using IAM credentials, the ones that you've seen we've used to log into our account. Then give the group full administrative permission. If that group requires admin privileges, you give all of them what? Admin permissions. Then add IAM users to this group. So you create a group, you put the policy, and then you add the users. That is the flow. Create a user, create a group. After you've created a group, attach all permission to that group, then bring in the users. When the users enter the group, they'll get permissions are already existing. So they will inherit the permissions that the group has. If it makes sense, let me see some thumbs up. That's very important. If it makes sense, let me see some thumbs up. Thank you, Alphas. Thank you, Gideon. Thank you, Belinda. Okay, cool. 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 At the security starts with S, not you. You're uniquely secure, so it starts with you. You're uniquely secure, so it has to start with you. You know. Okay, so again, you guys will just read those notes. Let me not maliza my nini there. Now, security best practice, another one, requiring MFA. So there's this course that I was doing as security, and I told you guys that when we were doing that course, you were being taught about Auth N, Auth Z, accounting, and auditing. And one of the beautiful things that I learned under authorization is that, yes, you've been authenticated, you are in. Once you are in, you've logged in. By logging in, you see, the first thing that it asked me is multi-factor authentication. Go and get me that code to prove that indeed you are Patrick, your user Pat, who is trying to access this account. So Pat has to go and use what he has. You know, what I gave initially, I gave who I am. So I gave them my username and my password, or my username and my password. And then now they ask me for what I have. What I have is the phone. So after I go to my phone and I get the code and I give the code, now I am able to get in. So there's a way you can actually define this, although this is a bit advanced level for you guys, but for AWS and actually for most of other cloud providers, they have done this for you automatically. So they normally have a suggestion where they're telling you that, by the way, you need to set MFA. Like I remember there's this cloud provider that I was setting an account with, and then they told me that, by the way, you had opened an account with us, but we've discovered it has been 3 days, you have not set your MFA. Please set your MFA within these days, failure to which your account will be disabled. So that is how serious they take MFA, because they know MFA gives you an extra layer of security. You know, an extra layer of security. So I was just playing around with that cloud provider. So I was not that, I knew that I was not going to do some serious stuff there, but still the same, I saw the importance of MFA. So as you can see from here, MFA is required both from the root user and the IAM user. And this IAM user can be multiple. You can even have, is there a maximum number of IAM users that an account can hold? I'll check that one for you guys. But every IAM user should be required to have a multi-factor authentication, because an IAM user can also be a security threat to the rest of the users within that account. So it's important that to make sure that even them, they are secured. All IAM users are secured, so that no hacker can hack. Let's say, for example, they hack Musembi, and now they can get access to the entire Landly network. You know, that is not proper. So make sure that everybody is protected. Then, after you've required for all AWS account users to have MFA, they can now access the console. You can give access to the console. Then you can also use MFA to control access to AWS services and APIs. You know, so AWS services, there are those services that will require you to re-input the MFA, you know, for you to use that service, or for you to use that API service, that is. You know, so that is very, very important. And again, I'm not going to spend time with the speaker notes. Then CloudTrail. We talked about CloudTrail, and we said CloudTrail should be activated. So when you look at your CloudTrail, you will discover that CloudTrail is that service that tells you who did what. You know, is that service that tells you who did what, and it tracks API calls through the AWS Management Console, the CLI, your application, and third-party software. It then publishes all of this to S3. You remember we talked about that? So after you've activated your CloudTrail, then you can grant Amazon S3 access to those who require it. You know, you have your S3, then you give access. You remember where I unblocked access. So you block that access, and then you write a policy. You write a bucket policy, which says, for example, user Pat can access it, user Musembi cannot access it, user Esther can access it, you know, and then you can apply it to all regions, and then you specify an S3 bucket where these logs will be stored. You know, logs need to be stored so that you can use them in terms of maybe when you want to do your auditing and stuff. You understand? You understand? So we talked about that, and yesterday you were able to see that logs create ongoing record of all events. They create data logs by region and for resources. Not yesterday, the previous day. Yesterday I did not teach. The other day when I was teaching you guys about CloudTrail, and then it tracks changes and user activity across AWS resources, and it can create validated logs for forensic and security investigations with the right settings, and it sends out alerts for specific events. You know, so CloudTrail is very, very important. Then we have what we call billing report. To receive billing report, you must have an S3 bucket in your account to receive and store reports. You know, S3 is our store. When you set up the report, you can select an existing S3 bucket or create a new one, whichever you choose. Limit access to only the ones who need it. Yes, now you have a budget. You have your bill. You have your billing report that shows things like cost and usage report. And then within your organization, you have people that actually deal with finance, people that that need this data maybe to forecast your next month's spend so that they can allocate the amount of money that is needed. Now, those people might be specialized people. Maybe there are people in accounts, you know, maybe there are people in FinOps, financial operations. So those guys will be given access. So you'll have FinOps guys, put them in a group, grant them access to that bucket through a bucket policy. But these guys in DevOps, these guys in security, these guys that are doing these other things who have no business accessing those reports, you make sure that they don't have access to those reports. Remember the principle of least privilege. Okay, so you start by activating a billing report in AWS. Then you grant Amazon S3 access to the ones who require it, and you use cost and you use the cost and usage report. So the cost and usage report will now be brought in and deposited into the S3 bucket that you created or selected. And then the people that will access it are only the people that you've given express permission to access it. Nice. Checkpoint questions. What is the most important thing to remember about using your root user? Nimepiga story kuhusu root user sana. I've talked about the root user for quite a while. So someone tell me, what is the most important thing to remember about using your root user? What is that important thing? And then in your own words, what is MFA? And what is the security benefit of using CloudTrail? Salem in capital, do not use root user. Do not use root user. Stop using root user. Switch from it as soon as possible. Very nice, very nice. Ladies, where are you at? Menda lunch. Ladies, where are you at? Root user doesn't have access key. That's true. So as a root user, you know, there is something about access keys that you should know. Your access keys should be stored in a secure place. And you see, the fact that I've downloaded them and they're in my machine, it means that if someone accesses this machine, they can, and if they know what to do with it, because you see, it has the access key and it has the security key. Those are like the two things that they need to be able to access my AWS account. That is like, for example, you can say the access key is my username and the secret key is my password. So they have it and they can now access it. You know, root user doesn't have access key. So that is good. Ladies, you've refused to talk. Maybe you can tell us in your own words. What is MFA? What is multi-factor authentication? What is multi-factor authentication? Yeah, you can use that device for storage. Yeah, you can. Actually, it's like one of the best practices. If you can keep it away from your machine where nobody else can access it, even the better. Or if you are a serious organization, you can have encrypted. Like I think HSMs are like an encrypted removable sticks. So you can have all of it there, and then it is encrypted, and then it's only opened by authorized people and stored under lock and key. That's how serious these things are, because you can get a very big organization that is using cloud. Some Fikiria cloud is just for small users here. No, even big organization like Netflix, they use cloud. So it's very important to make sure that these things are secure. What is MFA? In your own word, is adding another layer of authentication apart from password to verify the user. I like that. Thank you, Juma. Gail, a method of verifying one's identity using one or more proofs. Thank you, Gail. Felix, MFA is the additional confirmation you need to provide to gain access to any system. Wonderful. Wunderbar. That is awesome. What is a security benefit of using CloudTrail? What is a security benefit of using CloudTrail? What is a security benefit of using CloudTrail? Any wild guess? Or someone who knows? What is? So yes, we say, that the most important thing to remember is AWS strongly recommends that you do not use the root user for your everyday tasks, even the administrative ones. Instead, adhere to the best practice of using the use user only to create your first IAM user, then securely lock away the root user credentials and use them to perform only a few account and service management tasks. So that is that. Then what is MFA? MFA is an authentication method that requires the user to provide 2 or more verification factors to gain access to a resource. For instance, such a resource might be an application, an online account, or a VPN. MFA is a core component of a strong identity and access management policy. Now, what is security? What is a security benefit for using AWS CloudTrail? We said creates an ongoing record of all events, all event types that you specify upon setting up your trail. And it also creates data logs by region for resources. It tracks changes and its activity across resources, and can create validated logs for forensic and sends out alerts for specific events. Thank you, Gideon. I think I like what you've done. You've just written troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is like an umbrella word for all of this. Yes. Now, somebody read this for us. Gail, are you in a position to read?
Yes, Patrick, I am.
Oh, cool. Please read this for us.
Okay. The AWS account root user is identified by the email that is used to the access. Do not give the root user credentials to anyone. Delete the AWS account root user access keys after login. Create an IAM user for each individual in the organization. Always secure your AWS account with MFA. Activate AWS CloudTrail to log and billing reports. To log and billing reports to collect usage and information in your AWS account.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gail. Thank you so much. That is awesome. So that is that. That is all that we needed to talk about when it comes to security best practices. Let me see how we are doing on time. You're not bad. I just want us to finish this thing up by looking at the KCs. KC. Let's just go through the KC together so that when you go for lunch, you can just open your KC and just do them bio. So it was about it was about security best practices. We already did that. So we are going to do our KC. Watch an apple thumbs up. Anyone that has learned something new? If you've learned something new in this session, let me see a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the session, let me see a thumbs up. If the session was boring or you did not catch anything, let me see a frowning face. We take all feedback. We take all feedback. Feedback zote ni sawa. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. So let's go. Let's do this KC. What is used to authenticate AWS account root user in the AWS management console? What is used to authenticate the AWS account root user in the AWS management console? Let me see. Let me see your answers. Email address. Email address. So I'm not seeing any different answer. So we go with email address, right? Let's see if that is the right answer. Yes, it is correct. Remember, when you are logging in as root, you use your email address and password. Which type of permission does an AWS account root user have? Which type of permission does an AWS root user have? Complete access to only AWS security services, complete access to all AWS services and resources, administrator access to AWS, administrator access to AWS services except managed services. Which one? Waiting on your answers, waiting on your answers. Root user, which permissions? I have been singing that song. Which permission does a root user have? Thank you, Fan. Thank you, Clinton. Yes, the permission they have is complete access to all AWS services and resources. Complete access. That's why they are called root, and that's why they are able to delete stuff and create stuff. Yeah, which logging service should be immediately activated as best practice when creating an AWS service? An AWS account. Which logging service should be immediately activated as best practice when creating an AWS account? Oh. I can see Team D. People are saying it's CloudTrail. Let's see. CloudTrail is correct. What is our best practice when creating a user in AWS account? What is a best practice when creating a user in AWS account? Is it include numbers in the username, require MFA for access, make the password the same as the user as the user name initially, make the password 10 characters in length? What is the best practice here? What is the best practice? I can see B for boy. Everybody is saying boo, boo, boo. Okay, let's see. Abu Kudu. Submit. Good. Good, 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 good. Now, finally, what is the best practice when setting up? Yeah. What is a best practice when setting up your AWS account for receiving billing reports? I'll not read the options. Those options are long. What is the best practice there? What is the best practice when setting up your AWS account to receive billing reports? So guys are saying B for boy, or B for break. Let's see, submit, and that is correct. So the correct answer is you need to create and select an AWS S3 bucket. So those are the answers that you're supposed to do. Those are the answers that you're supposed to input to those questions. Good, good. So as you can see from what I'm sharing, we have 2 more topics to clear security. So in the afternoon, we'll be carrying on from compliance program and then AWS security resources, and then we'll be done. You guys are so lucky. Today, we don't have labs. So please take that time to prepare for next week, to catch up on your KCs and to catch up on your labs. Keep meeting in your groups, work as groups, build friendships, build peer connections, because those connections will take you very, very far. Okay, cool, awesome. Any question before we go for lunch? Any question before we go for lunch? Silence 1, silence 2, silence 3. Cool. See you guys at 2. 2 on the dot. Let's be back so that we can continue. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Mhm.